Gustavo, is it your sense that the Supreme Court will in fact accept the charges and put Bolsonaro on trial?
Thanks for having me. Well, yes, I think that a majority of the court has already given signals that they have been appalled by Bolsonaro's modus operandi throughout the years essentially since 2021. He has systematically tried to sow distrust in Brazil's electoral system and in Brazil's court system. And the Supreme Court has drawn red lines in the sense that Bolsonaro continuously crossed. The fact that we are at this stage shows that the Supreme Court is already willing to punish the January 8th insurrection, the people responsible for the January 8th insurrection, because this was an investigation overseen by the Supreme Court. So I think it's almost certain that this case will move ahead. And I would go as far as saying that Bolsonaro will likely be convicted, if not on all counts, at least in the most severe ones, such as sedition.
Well, Bolsonaro, for his part, says he's a victim of a political witch hunt, which is very similar to the language we heard from Donald Trump in this country, who is the first U.S. president to be a convicted felon. None of the indictments against Trump seem to make a difference to his base, Gustavo. What about Bolsonaro's supporters? What about his base?
Well, I mean, saying that you're a victim of a witch hunt is on the playbook of every politician that faces criminal charges, right? But yes, just like in the U.S., Bolsonaro hardcore supporters, they don't seem fazed about these findings, and actually they echo his talking points that he is the victim of political persecution and that he did nothing wrong. Of course, we are in a highly polarized country, and we are in a country where the majority of people is not a hardcore Bolsonaro supporter. So I don't think that this has this will muster enough support for anything that would amount, as your report showed earlier, that the Congress would be willing to approve amnesty for those crimes committed by Bolsonaro and his acolytes.
Well, in another bizarre twist, Donald Trump's media company is getting involved in this mess, suing the same justice, Alexandre Moraes, that Bolsonaro was allegedly trying to kill. What is this about? Why is the Trump administration getting involved, or Trump's media company?
Right. So Trump's media company has a partnership with Rumble, the video platform company. This platform has been used by a lot of far-right influencers from Brazil to spread misinformation on the electoral system and on to flood Brazil's political discourse with falsehoods. Brazil's Supreme Court has led a very aggressive investigation against this sort of online misinformation networks, and it has ordered social media companies to strike down content that is, according to Brazilian legislation, criminal, and to block and to demonetize users that insist on spreading falsehoods. Now, we should remember that Brazil and the US have very different standards for freedom of speech. We have much more of an European-like view that speech can be regulated. So, for instance, if you say racial or homophobic slurs and someone has proof of that, you can go to jail, unlike in the US. And what the Trump Media Group says is that the Moraes orders on Rumble to demonetize and to block some users goes against U.S. freedom of speech laws.
Now, we're running out of time, but I'm curious the impact of these charges or any potential trial on Bolsonaro's political aspirations. Could this actually help him?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think that the far right is willing to save him. Bolsonaro is useful to be this sort of cause that the far right defends, but nobody wants to save him, because if he's out of the picture, then other politicians can be the new standard bearer. So I don't think that it will help him in any way.
All right, we'll leave it there. Gustavo Ribeiro joining us from Brasilia. Thank you.